Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Edo House of Assembly crisis worsens as the Speaker and his deputy are impeached amid commotion. Ending terror attacks and building closer trade ties feature in talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and his counterpart from Cameroon, Paul Biya. The president directs security operatives to deal decisively with rat pigeon herdsmen. And 6-month-old baby saved after 4 days in rubble following a building collapse in Kenya. Let's remind you that you can read up more on our top stories on our websites, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on a mobile device and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. We also encourage you to use the Channels Eyewitness feature in the app. If you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. And here are a few pictures you sent into our Eyewitness portal. We begin with this one from Esuk-Utan area of Calabar, the Cross River State capital, showing a heap of refuse in the residential area. The authorities are advised to take note. In like manner is this picture from Ibuzo residential area of Delta State, showing a refuse dump and a flood. This is calling the attention of the State Ministry of Environment to this environmental hazard. We follow up with this picture from Ofa local government area of Kwara State, showing a road procession. Our eyewitness reporter says that these are the artisans of the local government protesting the poor power supply in their community. Our next picture comes from Abafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State, showing a half-broken electric pole in a residential area. Residents are appealing to the concerned distribution company to come to their aid. Our final picture comes from Ikoyi area of Lagos State, showing a commercial tricycle after an accident. Our eyewitness reporter is asking road users to exercise more caution. Thanks for sending in those pictures, and we urge you to please keep them coming. We turn to security now. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has commended the 151 Battalion soldiers fighting insurgency under Operation Crackdown. The recently introduced mission is a component of the mother operation Lafia Dole, designed to chase out insurgents from the notorious Sambisa forest. General Officer Commanding 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Victor Ezugu, is leading the crackdown team in Bama and Banki, where the Army Chief visited in recognition of the remarkable performance. The GOC engaged the COAS in a strategic meeting that lasted 30 minutes at the division's tactical headquarters, Bama, before proceeding to Banki to address the troops. Joining me now on the news at 10 to look at the launch of an attack on terrorists hiding in the Sambisa forest is a retired Army officer, Colonel Hassan Stan Labo. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Oh, thank you, Amaraj.
Great to have you here. The military are now in Sambisa forest. So what do you think should be done to give these terrorists, a final defeat?
We're talking about a final defeat for the terrorists. First and foremost, Amaraj, you would agree with me that we can't sit here and begin to expose whatever the plans the military may have, or which I think as a professional I envisage the military might be embarking upon. But I can assure you that, look, whatever needs to be done, we have a military in place that is able to deliver, and they will do just that. I have no doubt in my mind.
Okay, we understand you cannot give out
Sure.
strategic secrets that the military would be employing in this operation. But the Chief of Defense Staff did say yesterday that he suspects the Chibok girls may still be in that forest. What approach should be taken so that we don't jeopardize the lives of these girls as we try to defeat the terrorists?
Yes, it all depends on the approach to which the Chief of Defense Staff or the Chief of Army Staff would want to use in extricating these girls. Whatever it is, they all come with their consequences. All we need to do is to ensure that such consequences are reduced to the barest minimum. For instance, if we have to go on a rescue operation, for instance, definitely we know that it will come with some collateral damages. How can we reduce this? And so on. I will have enough strategists in there. We'll have individual tacticians in there who are very sound and they know how we can just get along with this.
How can we sustain this onslaught against the terrorists in Sambisa forest to ensure that we're not just recording a temporary victory, but it's a more permanent one, driving them out of Sambisa and keeping them out of the Sambisa forest?
First and foremost, I must say this, that communities that have been recovered from the insurgents must be protected. Haven't availed them with military protection, definitely we'll have to hand them over to civil authorities so that some civil life could begin to actually come into these communities and make life better for the inhabitants. That brings me also to the question of our de-radicalization program. If our de-radicalization program is not that all-inclusive, taking into cognizance the rehabilitation component of that program, I'm afraid we might just be injecting back into society individuals who are not well de-radicalized. And that will be very dangerous because you are sending back people into society, inserting people who can be of threat to the communities, and that could be very dangerous.
It will still be a bit tricky trying to distinguish terrorists from people, civilians. So even if, the operation in Sambisa is successful, and we're hoping it is,
Sure.
It has to be, then you still have terrorists living amongst people in those communities. So well, you mentioned policing the environment, but how else can people protect themselves? What else can the government do to make sure that, these terrorists are still fished out in communities that they may return back to?
See something, say something. We can't keep mute. The military guys out there are not magicians. We must assist our military to fight this war. We must assist them with information. We must avail them every assistance we can avail them with. You are the ones that live with these guys in the communities. You know them. So as the military begins to move into your community, you begin to avail them with information which they need, and they pick out the suspects.
One of the security concern is what happened recently in Enugu State. The president has given a directive today to security operatives to deal decisively with the Rapaging herdsmen. In military terms, what is the president asking the military to do?
Definitely, as a nation, we have our laws that keep us going. I don't think any herdsman is permitted to walk around with an AK-47. You are not a military chap. The military will come after you because that already is a violation of our laws. I also envisage that the military will be interfacing with the leadership of these herdsmen in most of the communities where we have these problems to see how these issues could be addressed and resolved once and for all. There will be interfacing going on, and of course, all sorts of, means being applied to make sure that our national laws are not in any way, violated.
Are you saying that the herdsmen will be searched, every herdsman? If there's going to be security in these places, then herdsmen should be searched for weapons, perhaps?
Well, herdsmen will be searched for weapons once there are violations within communities and some people are picked up. Definitely herdsmen will be searched. I'm not saying every herdsman that is moving along with his herds will be searched. If you have not violated any law, I don't see why people should come after you. But once there is a problem in a community where we envisage that it was caused by the presence of herdsmen and so on, the first thing will be to search them, because we cannot be seeing dead bodies on ground with injuries, maybe gun injuries, and yet we cannot search those whom we are suspecting. I foresee a huge success coming out of that directive.
There's a lot of anger in these communities which have experienced the attacks of these herdsmen, and there's also fear there could be reprisal attacks. How can we stop that from happening?
I want to advise that communities don't take laws into their hands. The Commander-in-Chief has given a directive. He is a serious personality, and I know the extent to which that directive will be carried out. Definitely we shall see a change. We shall definitely see a change. Citizens should not just take laws into their hands. Please.
And I think what's most important is the protection of life and property. Thank you so much, Colonel Hassan Standable, for joining us on the News at 10.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
A former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mrs. Iyabo Anishulowo, has been rescued by police. Senator Anishulowo was abducted last Wednesday in the Ibogila area of Yewa local government area in Ogun State. Police say she was rescued at a village called Bibilao near Olorunda town at 7 p.m. 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with her kidnap. Senator Anishulowo served in the 5th Senate of the National Assembly between 2003 and 2007. She also served as a Minister of State for Education under the administration of the late President Umaru Yar'Adua. Meanwhile, academic activities at the Obafemi Awolowo University Staff School were halted today as teachers, parents and pupils staged a peaceful protest to demand the prompt payment of salaries owed to teachers. The protests are also calling on the OAU management to review its decision on the newly proposed fees for students. They also want the federal government to rescind its directive to stop funding all federal university staff schools across the country.
It's resumption day for the third term session at the Obafemi Awolowo University Staff School. Instead of the usual assembly, the parents, teachers, members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and their students are gathered outside the school on a peaceful protest.
The parents that came from town.
The teachers are protesting non-payment of 4-month salaries by the university management, following a circular released by the federal government that it will no longer fund the wage bill of university staff schools.
This is the only university that are not paying teachers in staff school. And that is why we are here. Now, if we are talking that these pupils, our future leaders of tomorrow, are we supposed to be treating education matter the way we are handling it in OAU?
All the teachers in OAU Staff School, we are saying that we must receive January, February, March, and every salary. It's something we have worked for. It's not, we're not asking for loan. We're not asking for, we're not begging. It's something we have worked for. Pay our salary as when due.
The parents are also protesting hike in the fees of their children and wards, among other demands by the same authority. They say the fee has been moved from the 1,600 naira to 20,000 naira for staff and the initial 2,500 naira to 25,000 naira for non-staff.
We know that we are cutting back on costs generally in Nigeria. Yes, we know that there are certain things that have to be restructured. Yes, we know that the mono economy is not favoring us because of the drop in oil prices. Yes, we know all of this. But you just don't sit down somewhere in Aso Rock or wherever it is and pass down policies that do not help the situation on ground.
And with the first capacity, they are still saying we should pay more higher school fees. And they should reduce the school fees so that we'll be able to continue our education.
But the school management, through the public relations officer, says the increase in the school fee is to enable the school authority meet its obligation to the teachers.
Pretty surprised this morning that some parents, let me say, microscopic minority of parents are protesting because the overwhelming majority of them have agreed to what the management and the PTA decided on. That, of course, they should be paying some amount in order to pay teachers' salaries and for the runnings of the affairs of the school.
So far, parents have taken their wards home. But as they leave, what appears to be the solution to this is a dialogue between all parties for the benefit of the students.
When the News at 10 returns, federal government asked to return pioneer status to critical sectors for growth and job creation. More coming up in business news. Please join us again.